Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, all. How are you all doing today? Happy Thursday. Or is it Friday? People from Australia is Friday. Let me wait. I wish I had scheduled this live. I did not. I just jumped in here. How are you all doing today? Let me wait for at least 2, 3 people before I start. Otherwise, I am good. Can't complain. Glad that we finished the Easter festivities. Young, but ended with the Pope passing on. And just looking at all, it's like now everybody, just like as always in life, when somebody is all gone is when people come and echo their, the things that they've done. And I think it's especially people we never even think about, the people who took care of him, the people who he's worked with, of course, his family, and then just, of course, his legacy too. I think for me, looking at even his legacy and the things he managed to accomplish, it's a lot. And I remember even having, a conversation with um, some friends of mine, and I think the biggest thing was many people are wondering, oh, he allowed, the gay and lesbian um, thing into the church. But to me, what I understand is how he looked at it, come as you are, come as you are. And that's the foundation of the Catholic Church, come as you are. It doesn't matter if you're a single mom, if you, whatever sexual orientation you subscribe to, just come as you are. Just come as you are. Come as you are. And to me, that's, I think, the biggest thing. Just come as you are. And honestly, the world we're living in right now, so much is happening. So much is happening. And so many people, I think, get to be so judgmental and so, you know, just not understanding at all. I remember part of the conversation I had with some friends of mine is when you're talking about come as you are, it's literally what that means. It means that, for example, let me give an example like the Protestant church, the Protestant church are big on there's no sex before marriage, which is really a good thing. And my question is, what if a girl is raped and decides to have the child? And now is joining this church and, of course, now has had the child out of wedlock. So then what? Is she not allowed in the church because she's coming with a baggage? And she does not want to explain how she got her child? That's what I asked, a friend of mine when we had that conversation about women having kids out of wedlock. You never know what happened for this girl to decide to have the child. Are we now going to crucify them for that? Or that, you know what, come as you are. When you're ready to tell us what happened to you, you will tell us. But in the meantime, just come as you are. Just come. To me, that's what's more important, honestly. And yeah. On my title, I've put the week that was because this week has been one that is coming up with a lot of talk about the church and what's going on. Hi. Welcome. I'm just reflecting on the week that was and just talking about how this week has been, I live in the US right now. with all these talks about the tariffs, with all these things about, the church and the influence of the church, looking at even the proceedings about the Pope's burial. And it's just making me reflect on so many things in terms of where the church is right now, where politics is, and how it's influencing our life. In, and one thing that, to me, reflecting on even like the late Pope Francis, is how he was such a humble guy. We would see how he struggled with his health, especially the last year. But he was one person who, um, it wasn't even about him being a Catholic Pope. It was humanity. It was washing the feet of women, or like sick people, or loving the children. Like, honestly, with reflecting, even with everything that is happening, he is such a good example of how we need to be human, how we need to be going beyond your religious affiliation. It's you as a human being. Greetings from London, Ramford. Greetings, welcome. I'm just reflecting on the week and looking at just how all that is going on, with even the way the US is having a fight with the neighbors. Like, where do we draw the line? You know, it's very difficult. I really don't like talking about politics because it gets me going. Like, I can really go about politics, but it's hard not to talk about politics because you just look at how things are going on. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I wish human beings, we would learn, honestly. I wish we would learn even from the children. I saw a video talking about, kids are just talking about who the president is, and they were very blank about who he is. But you wonder how grown-ups elected him in. Anyway, I don't want to talk about politics, but all I'm saying is, honestly, we need to be better. We need to do better. Honestly, we really need to do better. I need to do better. I'm raising a teenager, and I look at her confidence. I look at how she's zealous about life. But the life that she is now living in, it's sad. How sometimes she asks me questions and I have no answers, because we are living in a world where being human and humanity, honestly, makes you wonder, you know, with how we are now the ones who are a bad example, you know. Looking at who the Pope was, for example, like I said, and then compared to who our president in the US is like two different, like day and night. It's like day and night. And honestly, I'm really struggling to not, like, I don't sugarcoat to my daughter, but at the same time, I'm just forced to say this is an example of what you should not do. I mean, there's nothing else I can say, but this is what you should never do. This is who you should never be, you know? And this week has really, to me, honestly, it's been a week of reflection, especially after Ramadan and, Lent. It's been where we look at where we are in the world, and it's a sad situation. My question is, how are we spreading love? My best friend, I'm Christian, and my best friend is Islam. Why? Because I see beyond religion. I see the person, who the person is. Are you the person to, and I have so many friends who are from different religions. Why? Because I love how the different religions, come into play into our lives. And I remember this week, one time I came in and I found this lady who said that right now she does not practice religion. She grew up Catholic, but she does not. Why? Because of the different things that the church has done, and it's really sad. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, if you look at how people fail us, I would say that right now, the people who elected the president in the US failed the people, because now things are falling apart because of the decision that the majority saw that they would rather not elect a woman, Black, Asian, or Black Indian. They would rather a white man, just so, who was less qualified. Like, let's be honest, less qualified, but they would rather do that. They would rather do that for everything that, when I even looked and saw that the former first lady did not attend to the inauguration, did not even attend to was it President Carter's funeral. And she said, later on, she said, I chose myself. I chose myself. Simply because I saw her going around the country campaigning, telling people, please don't, please. This is Project 2025. This is what it will look like. But people made a decision. And now, looking at how things are falling apart, it's hard for me to say that, you know what, I will ignore. Because this honestly should be a lesson. This should be a lesson. Let's see what Ramford is saying. It is difficult, very difficult to avoid politics, as everything depends on politics, from the air we breathe, what we eat, and what we wear. Exactly. Honestly, it's very hard. It's very hard. It's very, very hard. I can tell you right now, let me tell you, it is crazy right now. I'm living in the US where I'm experiencing it firsthand. And I'm honestly embarrassed. I'm really embarrassed. And let me say this. I remember the first time the President Trump was elected. My daughter, in school, they did a mock interview, a mock election. So they, for her, like the way in school they are teaching them about election. So they did a mock election, and in their class, he did not win. So when he did win the first time, she came home and she was devastated. And she gave me a whole list of the reasons why he should not have won. I looked and I was like, wow, how do I explain to my daughter that? And they could see all these things of who this person was. And now when she was more mature and talking to me about Project 2025, I did not tell her. It's things that she had already seen online. She's in high school, so I mean, she can read and see for herself what Project 2025 was. And right now, honestly, I am thoroughly embarrassed. I am, and I'm really heartbroken, honestly. I'm heartbroken to see where we are right now. Um, I don't know what will be, but I'm just praying and hoping that things will be better. I think for me, what is really like why I'm even wanting to even talk about this and saying this is, like I said, my social media is, I plan to leave it as something that I'll look back to, and my children and my grandchildren and my future generation. And right now I am so conflicted, I am heartbroken, But at the same time, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that there will be change, that the different, with every system, we have the judiciary and, of course, the presidency, that these other arms will come in and really step up and protect the Constitution. Because life as it is right now in the US is becoming hard. And so many people, I've seen so many people relocating and so many people doing all that. And now to even see, like, if I go back to like the legacy of the Pope, to see what he believed in and what he's done. I know so many people look at the Catholic Church like among the things that contributed to even like, the whole slave trade and suppression and oppression. But look at the progression that the church has made, that even, for example, Pope Francis made into the church. Pope Francis brought a lot of change into humanity as far as the church is concerned. I remember looking at the story of this guy who, I think, where was it? Was it in it was a small city where the priest had Facebook, how YouTube is, you can't say some things. I don't want to like be blunt. So the priest had relations with this child, of course, and he was young and whatnot. And the church was covering everything. And now when the Pope had visited, people came out protesting, carrying out signs saying that who this new bishop was. And when he went back to Rome, guess what he did? Send an investigation, and then came back and found that, yes, it's true. That's what had happened. So what he did was he made sure to get him to resign. And he even took that boy, and now he's the one. I mean, he was now an older guy. He's the one even who was now in charge of investigating everything about that part of the church. And I'm Catholic, and that's part of what really the church struggles with. The church struggles a lot with priests who step out and really commit all these crimes. It's the reality of the church. And it's the reality that we are facing right now, that people in positions of leadership who have committed, they're criminals. But because of money, because of people wanting to look away, they cover up for all these things. And it's really, really sad. Honestly, it is really sad and heartbreaking to like really see that if I'm to, for example, anywhere in the world, let me give an example. Anywhere in the world, if you're in the medical field, what is the first thing they do? Background check. And if you're found to have committed any crime, you cannot even go to nursing school. You cannot be a doctor. You cannot be in any position in the medical field, in teaching, in being even something like as simple as being a police guard in prison. Any position that does not even require you to have a diploma, just a high school diploma, not even like, grad school or. So tell me, how come we are anyway, I don't want to go too much. I don't want to say too much, but to me, it's really, this week has been one where I really cannot look away. To me, it's really, really like, I don't like where we are in the world right now. We're not teaching. I'm really, like, I am a struggling mom in terms of when you're trying to teach morality, But the examples of morality that we have in positions of leadership are very questionable, where easily my child can tell me, I'm not going to go to church because these are the same people who are molesting children. That's the reality we are having right now, that you find priests in position of leadership that are not even teaching kindness, are not an example of forgiveness. Like, when you're talking about teaching, you cannot teach and forget that you have to teach by example. That whatever I do, my expectation of my child, my children, will be who and what I'm living. That I cannot tell them, oh, we have to fast, but I'm here eating. That I cannot tell them, don't use vulgar language, but she would hear me on the phone with my friends being vulgar. Like, we are living in times where, honestly, we are not living our truth. Because if we as grown-ups, and that's where my reflection of the week is, that honestly, we are not good examples to our children. We are not. We really are not. And I don't know how we go forward. Another good example is, look at how now, for example, like in Kenya, I come originally from Kenya. Look at how the Gen Zs in Kenya, the Gen Zs have an uproar of just coming out and, calling out the leaders, calling out all these people. Even here in the US, the majority of the people who are calling out the government are now not even, are not older. But now even the older people have joined in. They're like, no, y'all cannot do this. Because I think if we really do not speak up for ourselves, if we do not do that, we are raising a generation that is not afraid. And that's my reality. I'm raising children who are not afraid to speak up for the truth. They're not. And neither should we. We should speak up for the truth. And let me give another example. I saw this one lady who was in Kenya, who was dating a doctor. And she came out now and said, on social media, she would show how like the relationship was perfect. She would take him meals. She would, like, when he's home, wash his feet, serve him, and do all these things. But that's not the reality that was happening. And that's the reality of social media right now, that people are showing you the glam and the glory. But behind closed doors, this lady was being abused. This lady was experiencing, the doctor was dragging her and manipulating her. And all the time he would give her medication and force her to be this type of person. And not only that, like his doctor background is not even clean. He had bought a position, like right now, wherever hospital he's working in, he has bribed that hospital. He has cleaned his background. And now the lady is coming out and afraid and telling people, guys, do not go to this doctor because he is abusing his patients. He is taking advantage of the women. That is the reality we are living in right now. That even when you are taking your child or you're taking yourself to the doctor, it could be somebody who is not a real, he has a crazy background, or even the medication you're given is to incapacitate you. Look at even what's happening to Club Shay Shay right now. This guy is in his 50s. What's his name? Shonan, is it Shepard? What's his name? You guys know him, right? This 50-year-old who was involved with a 20-year-old. Like 50, 30-year difference. How many women are out here, single, beautiful, close to age with him? But why this 20-year-old? That is the reality of the world right now. And it is really crazy. It is really confusing. And it is, to me, it is just disappointing, for lack of a better term. I'm living in a situation where when I look around me, it's so much happening. And I'm just like, wow, what is the future of my child, my children, if this is the reality we are living in right now? I don't know how it is for you, Ransford, in Europe, but here in the US and around me, it is crazy. It is crazy. There's a school in Dallas that kids were protesting and don't want to go to school because guess what? A child carried to school twice. There've been, like, how many times have you had in America where kids are being violent? The other day in sports, a child, this boy, there was a confrontation during a track meet, in a high school track meet. And this boy had carried something to protect himself because he was tired of being bullied. And yeah, so if you can Google, you'll find the story of this boy who right now, I think even they had put up a post to help him contribute to get out, and 1 million was the $1 million was how much was needed to get him out of prison. And finally, the family was able to, people contributed and got him out. And right now, the case is ongoing. Twin boys came and, yeah, bullied this boy. And upon protecting himself, unfortunately, one of the boys did not make it. Like, how is it in the 21st century where we are still talking about oppression from one race and the other? You can imagine, even without telling you, you can imagine who was a boy who was being bullied. Did he talk about it in school? Was he complaining about it? Of course. Was anything done about it? Like, it is honestly, I could go on, but honestly, this week for me has been one week where I reflect back and I am really sad. I am really sad that we are living in a situation where in the 21st century, you can clearly see oppression of immigrants, oppression of people who've chosen their own type of life, their sexual orientation, you know, and it's really, really sad, honestly. It's really, really sad. Welcome, comments, mom. She says you must pray for protection for your young child, especially young African American men. Yep. Yeah. And every day when my child goes to school, I sometimes just feel like I'm afraid to remind them because I don't want them to be afraid too. But it lingers in my mind. I'm like, will they be safe? Will they come back home? Will they know what to do? Will they, it's Honestly, it would be really me pretending that I'm not afraid. I am. I am afraid that we are living in a situation where, I don't know, are we going back 10 years, 20, not even 10, are we going back centuries back? Because that's how it feels. It feels like we are living in the 19th century, not even the 21st century, the 19th century. You look at talking about emancipation. How are we emancipated? How? Ah, Ranman says here in the UK, violence in school is rare. However, it does not mean that there isn't violence outside of school amongst gangs. Yeah. And that's part of actually, like in the US here, most middle schools and elementary schools put on uniforms for that reason. High school, there's a strict, most high schools don't put on uniforms. They put on whatever they want, but of course there's a code where they cannot put on certain colors. No, they're free to put on whatever color, just that there are metal detectors going into the school. But still these things happen, and you wonder, I mean, it is sad. It is really, really sad. And I don't know. I don't know what the future would be. But like I said earlier, this week has got me thinking and reflecting. And I'm just looking and I'm like, you know what? I feel like as grown-ups, we have put ourselves in that situation. It's like we do something and then we cross our fingers and we are doing a Hail Mary, hoping after we've made a decision. Like we made a decision and then now it's like, I really hope if I show you, who I am, why are you not believing who I am? You know? Mm? You must keep your head up. I have confidence this too shall pass. It shall pass. It shall pass. It shall pass. I really do hope it shall pass. My only thing is, and I keep asking myself, what will be the damage caused after all? Because we have 4 years, we are barely into 100 days. What will be the damage? What will be the damage? Right now, gas, I had to change my car right now. I have a bigger car for the safety of my daughter who's trying to also learn to drive. I needed a better car. I don't think it was, I mean, I was forced to. But if you look at even the gas prices have gone up. Food prices are double what it was last year, same time. Gas is double what it was last year, same time. And the one thing that hasn't changed is the income. The income is constant. The income is constant. Yes. Positive thoughts. I completely agree. Just that today I just felt the need to just point out that this week has got me reflecting, especially like I said earlier, after the Pope's passing, it just got me thinking. This guy had a lot of influence, but no power. Because yes, the Vatican City is it's like it has its own leader. He was the leader, he's like the president of the Vatican, but could not have control. He had good thoughts, good everything, but could only try and influence as much as he did. And he really did. He really did. He really did. So humble. So humble. He was such a humble guy with so much power. Look at even how he changed, how like the whole burial would be a more simple casket that does not have all the fanciness and less expensive. Decided he does not want to be buried. He wanted to be buried where he was used to going to pray and felt home. Like, this was such a humble guy. That's what has got me really thinking. And I'm just like, and honestly, humility goes a very long way. It does. It does. I'm human, so I'm afraid too, but I keep thinking positive. Yes. Yes, yes. Commons mom, Louisiana. Yes. Positive thoughts. And I am honestly, I'm an optimistic person. I am an optimistic. I always see the glass half full. And I know it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. But I know that some things need to change. Honestly, so much needs to change. So much needs to change. She says, I'm human, so I'm afraid. Okay. I actually shed tears reflecting on the inspiration. Imagine, yes, it's so inspirational. I've been looking at all the stories coming up, and I'm just like, wow, 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 wow. And during this Easter, I injured my hand. That's why I've not even done some cooking videos. I think I cut my nail too low, and my finger was so swollen and painful and all that. And I could not even like function for a few days. And here is somebody who had bilateral, he was struggling with breathing, but still the whole Easter festivities, he's completely done each and everything. Imagine. He did everything. He did everything. He did everything. He did everything. And that's really challenging. Like, if I'm to compare him to Mother Teresa, I think they would be par and par. Humility goes a long way. And I think with such positions, for me, I always say, I'm inspired because can you imagine? He had done so much change, but barely scratched the surface because the amount of things that were happening in the church, it was appalling. Like, I think he got to that position and he's like, what? My bishops can lie to me? Like, you're expecting that bishops would be, you're in a position where you're now under, like, there's so many priests under you. You're running a whole diocese, meaning you're accountable to so many people. And imagine these people were lying to the Pope, covering up all the injustices that were happening. Imagine. Guys, that's the reality we are living in. That, to me, I think even that's a reflection for me. I was like, you know what? Bishops were lying to the Pope about what was happening in their dioceses. Lying. When they did the investigations, they found so many dioceses and so many things were being covered up. And I remember, I think it was last year, I'm in the Dallas diocese, and our bishop then, actually our bishop, the bishop who's right now overseeing all the funeral for the late Pope, was a former Dallas bishop, Bishop Farrell. Bishop Farrell, when he was given the promotion to go to the Vatican, he was here, and he was a no-nonsense bishop. And then the one who took over him right now, Bishop, I think we have two of them, Bishop, is it Kelly and what's the other bishop called? The one who took over also was no nonsense. Guess what he did? There was a priest who was ordained, and barely a year in, he had gone to visit this family, and he was inappropriate with one of the girls in her home. Do you know what the bishop did? There was no investigation and covering up and he put him on blast, wrote a letter that was read in all the churches in Dallas, and he said, I cannot have this. This is an example of what priests should do. That's what he did. That's what he did. He was like, no. I cannot have that happening. And to me, that's what to me, like, I always look at it and I'm like, don't be fooled. Just because somebody is saying they are a pastor, they are a priest, they are a servant of God, they are also human. Remember that. They are human. And the Bible says everybody falls short of the glory of God. Everybody, even me, you, everybody. So don't be fooled that you see somebody preaching and then you just leave your child with them like that. Part of what the church did going forward from all these things that were happening was safe environment. And part of the safe environment we were told is never leave your child by themselves. Never let them even go to the bathroom by themselves. Always watch for your child. Even when these people are coming to your home, keep an eye. They are human. Apart from them being men or women of the clock, they are human. They are human. So for me, reflecting and just looking at how and who the Pope was, it really brings home the life we are living right now. We are living in a society where money covers up for sins that people do. It doesn't matter where you live. Just remember that as long as somebody has money, they could be crooked and wipe off their background. So if you're in a relationship, for example, and you see red flags, run. Don't wait. When you see that small little red flag of who somebody is showing you to be, take off. Take off and run. Because the reality is that if somebody with 34 convictions is sitting in the biggest office in the US of A, whomst are you? Who are you? Money. The root of all evil, money. Let me plug my phone here real quick. You know, our society, honestly, right now, to me, honestly, I look and I get sad. I really, really get sad. I get so sad because I really can see what is happening. I remember, I don't even know why I'm talking about this. One time where my faith was really like shaken, like I said, I'm Catholic, was I watched, so on Netflix, there's a series called, is it The Lost Boys? No, The Boy Scouts of America. I watched The Boy Scouts of America. It is a series talking about all these boys who stuff happened to them are now grown up, and they came together to face their demons and did this show. So in a nutshell, And I think for me it was a reflection at the time, and it really got my faith really shaken. And I considered leaving the church then. I really did. Because I just had a distaste for it. I was like, what? One of the things was where I live, the Boy Scouts like center was close by. And remember how the Boy Scouts happen? Like, it's men, either like in church or fathers come and take care of these kids, teaching them how to like hunt, teaching them, they give them all these positive things that comes with Boy Scouts, you know. They go camping, they go hunting, they do different teamwork activities, they're given different challenges, discipline, they're taught to be men and all that. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. But unfortunately, some of those men were taking advantage of these boys. Moms were dropping kids. I remember like one of the guys said, um, the mom used to drop him to the priest's house because he was the mentor. And this guy would just, and remember, these are boys, they were young. I think they were like, the youngest was what, like 8, if I'm not mistaken. So all these were kids between 8 to 15, 16, who were groomed. And after watching it, oh my goodness, I just was, whew, I could not believe it. I was like, what? The problem was that these things were covered up, covered up, covered up, completely covered up. Kids came out and spoke. The ones even who are afraid to even tell their moms, they told them. Well, after seeing that show, I think I just was like, wow, wow, wow. But I think after I reflected so much, and I was reminded how it's human beings, it's humans. So for me here today, I just want to remind us, be vigilant, guys. Be very vigilant. And in everything you do, just remember it's human. Okay? Conbam says, I was a helicopter parent. Wherever my child went, I was there, right there. Yes. And I don't blame you. I do the same. You have to like watch them. All these sleepovers and things happen. Make sure you know. And you have to be a friend to your child. You really have to be close to your child, where we are raising them knowing that, yes, we're raising them how we were raised, to be strict and everything, but also keep them close, keep them to be your friend. That way they're not afraid to come out and tell you, hey, mom, this and this happened. Hey, mom, make them feel comfortable to even open up. And God, mom says, no sleepovers. I don't blame you. I understand. Because we are living in a very crooked world, where we are preaching this and doing that. You're preaching water and drinking milk. And to me, that's where my struggle was. Like, somebody is preaching. When you're talking about, we are taught, part of, I remember like in the Catholic, like one of the things I really love about the Catholic Church is like the whole formation process. It's a long process. We're about to finish with my daughter now, the final, which is confirmation. And on this confirmation stage, it's a whole reminder of the fruits of the Holy Spirit. When you're talking about love, patience, kindness, goodness, self-control, And whenever we were taught, we are being, because now we know I have to go to class with her too. It's a reminder for me and for her too. And when you look at the fruit of love, is being loving, being, showing kindness, being patient. When you don't have, like they say, when the tree, you have to have love for you to get the fruit. You cannot, you have to, like the fruits of the Holy Spirit. You have to have the Holy Spirit in you, and then to now get all these fruits, right? And now when we were reflecting on all that, I was just like, the bishops are the ones who confirm, do the confirmation. So just imagine, these bishops are the ones who, for me, I could not shake away from my mind that these people were still lying, that even bishops lie. We always talked, they could always come to me as young adults. Yeah, some things I don't want to know. Yeah, even if you don't want to know, but yes, that is the level. And you did a good job, Con's mom. You did a good job. When if now your kids overshare, it means that you did a good job. So, yeah. One of the things I saw, let me share with you guys this, so that I just don't, yeah, I don't, because for me, I can talk. I can really talk. I don't want to preach. How many minutes have I been doing this already? Yeah. You know, I can really talk. And I think I was looking at this. Let me see. Can you guys see it? Oh, it's not very clear. It's not very clear. So this lady, if I can just explain, this lady was making breakfast for her husband, right? And the caption, can you guys see that? Can you guys see that? I do this every day by 4. So the caption was saying, I do this every day by 4:40 a.m. for my husband because blender is poisonous. So she's saying she mashes her food like that with a mortar and pestle because blenders are poisonous. And when I saw this, I was just like, wait a minute. Like to me, it was just like thinking about how the beliefs that we have. So this lady wakes up at 4:30 in the morning to prepare breakfast like that, and her husband goes to work at 7 in the morning. So she's already denying herself sleep so that she can prepare the food for her husband. And her belief is that a blender is not safe for us. It's not safe to use. So she's denying herself sleep from 3 a.m. instead of her even waking up, praying. You know how they say the holy hour of prayer is 3 a.m.? Uh-huh. Yes. This lady is saying 3 in the morning. 3 in the morning. She's preparing her food so that her husband can go to work. And let me tell you, the comments, I loved the comments because everybody on the comment was telling her, no, 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 no. You cannot do that. You cannot be here from 3 in the morning. You are preparing food for your husband while you could be praying. You could be doing all this. Why? I wish I could be able to show you guys the comments. The comments just got me. I was like, wow. Wow, 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 wow. Let me see. Yeah, I think I can see the comments. Can you guys see the comments scrolling up? I don't know if you guys can see the comments scrolling up, but the comments, let me see. Let me read for you guys the comments. Just be patient with me here so I can get it. I have too many things opened. The comments were just getting me. One of them was like, I jumped. Let me see if it's the one that I'm sharing. No. I jumped out of bed so I can fry akara. One of the guys was like, oh yeah, blenders are not safe for you because blenders are not to be eaten. And to your brain, stress and lack of sleep is very healthy for human consumption. Abi, like, oh, please. When you're stressed and poor sleep, he will marry another woman and buy her blender, washing machine, vacuum cleaner, and even hire a chef and a house manager. And as you watch your family beyond the veil, you will be shedding tears because everyone is relaxing and in peace. Kwani tu, madam, wife material, serving pap for your husband just to bring akara on the table. Why did I feel the need to share this today? I hope she has a fridge. I don't think she has a fridge. I don't think she has a fridge. If she's using a mortar and pestle and believing that, I don't think so. When I saw that, it just brought it home for me in terms of the limiting beliefs we have and how they make life more difficult for us. You know, whoever thought to bring a blender into our life was so that we stop all this pounding. Like for me, I also have a mortar and pestle that I sometimes use because I just miss that, that pounding when, especially when I'm doing like ginger, when I wanna do my little ginger shots or ginger in tea, black tea or tea with milk. But I have other options. I can put it in the blender or I can even boil it whole. I'm not limiting myself to it has to be this way. Whatever is going to make my life easy, but at the same time, not breaking the laws. You know, this woman, 3 in the morning, she's up because she wants to be the wife material. Wife material. Hmm? You know, don't limit yourself. Guys, don't limit yourself, honestly. No. Mm-mm. And honestly, when I came to the US is where, and even before I came, I remember, it says, he was saying the husband can go to McDonald's and have breakfast, and there's nothing wrong with that. McDonald's is not good for us. But once in a while, it's okay. Go eat it. In fact, even go take the double pounder, triple pounder burger and eat it. And you know when you limit yourself to, oh, McDonald's is not good because it's gonna make you this and that, you have traveled. It's okay. Eat the McDonald's. This lady just made me realize, you know what? How many things have I, Gladys, done that I should stop doing? There's so many. simply because I believe in a certain way. I believe that I have to. I think when I got my daughter, you understand how like being a parent makes you realize you can do some things. One of the things I always remind her is I remind her that when you're talking about love, this is what, to me, this is how I explain to her what love is. I told her love is going beyond what you could think or imagine for somebody. And I told her one time, I remember she was sick. She had a really bad congestion. And I had the thing to pull, the little thing you use, the bulb thing for the kid, but it was so far from my reach. And she seemed like she was struggling to breathe. I did not think twice. I held my kid to my mouth and just pulled out all that stuff and carried her as I still was holding it in my mouth. When now she could breathe, walk to the sink and spit it out. As disgusting as that sounds, that is what I did. And that to me is what love is. Love is doing things without even thinking, without hesitating to be like, oh, and I'm sorry, it's graphic, right? Mucus is disgusting. But I did it because this is now, stepping out and doing. And honestly, to me, that is what love is. That is like, don't limit yourself to where Mom says, I retired my superwoman status. I'm just an average working woman, which is good, But that is what love is. And when you're saying that now, like, to me, the lady, the video I just showed you, limited herself to where you now have to break your back for this person for maybe a meal that he'll just taste and be like, it doesn't have even enough salt. And that time she's woken up 3 a.m. Whilst maybe she's not giving attention to her children, she's fixated on this man. Abi, this week got me thinking a lot. Honestly, it got me thinking a lot. It got me thinking of the many times that I have done things without really thinking about what are the sacrifices that have been done for things to be where they are. I remember when you guys saw the mushrooms that I did the video for the mushrooms, and it just got me wondering, like, how many people died trying different mushrooms for them to discover, you know what, eat this and don't eat that. Because that's the reality of how many people have sacrificed for us to learn and to be where we are. There are people who have sacrificed. There are people who have sat up researching for medications. There are people who have sat up making laws, people who've sat up coming up with discoveries. He said, I don't think it's disgusting if the child's nostrils will be clear. I used to clear my child's nose that way as she couldn't blow her nose. Yes. And that is the definition of love to me, that you would do something, you would go above and beyond. You would sacrifice the last piece of bread for somebody. That is true love. I think I did not understand, and I think I've said this so many times, I did not understand sacrifice and love until I was a mom, is when I was like, wow, this is love. This is me, carrying this child to term. This is me denying myself to provide for her. This is me, doing all this. And then is when I understood and appreciated what my parents did for me. That they went above and beyond. They provided, they protected. They were always there for me. So, yeah, to me, that's just what I wanted to talk about today. That, guys, don't limit yourself. Don't. And when you see something, speak up. Be an advocate. Do you know how many people don't advocate for others? Be an advocate. Even if it would mean you being in trouble, but at least you said something. Be an advocate for others. Command's mom says, not understanding, I overstand. Sacrifice is the meaning of love for your child. Yeah, it's the meaning of love for your children, for sure. Not overstood, I overstand. Yes. Sacrifice. This has been refreshing. Thank you. Yeah. So, honestly, good people, continue spreading love and just remember, we are living in a time where, like I said earlier, I am so embarrassed. I am embarrassed to be living in this generation. Why? Because I have seen so many people sacrifice to be where, for us to be where we are. The likes of Nelson Mandela or even, Tubman sitting in the back of the bus, Martin Luther. Like, think about all these people who fought for equality, for, peace in the world. And then now for me to be living now, and I'm like, guys, are we forgetting where we came from? No. We don't need to be forgetting where we came from. Stand for the truth and let's spread love. And in spreading love, let us not be limited. Don't limit yourself. No. No. And, sometimes I look and I'm like, if an employer looks at my social media, will they not offer me a job? Should I limit myself to that? Should I limit myself to be like, be boxed in simply because I want to be a certain way? Or should I always, thank you, should I always stand up for what I believe in? And that's, to me, that's what I hope to be, that I stand for something. I do stand for something. So I promised last time that I was going to come live and make, what did I say? I think it was cereal, right? Granola, homemade granola. And I still will do that. Will do that. Our children will tell our grandchildren how great we are. Not if you did not go out and protest. So you need to go out and protest. No, honestly, I'm embarrassed. I really am. I feel like my grandchildren will be looking and be like, Grandma, why? Why were you guys doing that? I'm really embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for my future generation. I am embarrassed. I won't lie. I am, because I hate where we are. But it is what it is. It is what it is. And I'm so proud. I'm so proud that I live in Texas and I live in the Dallas County, because at least we have somebody who stands up for us and speaks for us. You know, every time I never miss anything that Crockett does. I love who she is and how she speaks up and speaks out, and that she looks like me, you know? And she's a woman. I love that. Jasmine Crockett is like one person I just look at and I'm like, wow. Yeah. And I hope. Comments, mom, you say, I'm not. I'm part of the 92%. If you know, you know. Okay. Yeah. Jasmine Crockett is, I love her. I really do. And we need more Jasmine Crockett's. We need more people who stand up for the truth and stand up for, you know, you're not, you're speaking the truth and not being afraid. And please don't limit yourself, guys. She is a perfect example. And imagine she's a freshman. She is new. She just got elected. She's new in the game, and not being afraid to, like, hey, calling out the truth. So anyway, good people. Yeah. So I will, like I said, I'll still do, I had a small injury. I'm good now. I'll do the oatmeal, the not oatmeal, but I just said it, granola, homemade granola. And I just keep encouraging people. The point why I like to come and cook and do the cooking videos is because when you're cooking at home, you know what is in your food, and just being more healthy, healthier food choices. Yeah. So please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And I'm so thankful and grateful for all of you watching my videos as we continue to grow. Let's continue to spread love and no limiting beliefs. Please don't limit yourself and just continue learning. Let's continue learning every day. Learn something. Every day, learn something. And continue having faith. I live with you. I think it's Hebrews 11. So let's reflect on Hebrews 11. And I think I'm going to start doing that. Even if you're not a Christian, just read the Bible. It has so many examples of what we need to do. So I think it was Hebrews 11. She and AOC will be remembered as the shakers and movers of, yes, 2025. AOC. Who's AOC? AOC. Who's AOC? The movers and shakers, yes. AOC. Oh, okay. 35-year-old Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Is that? Stop sending your storms over here in Louisiana. Let me tell you, if I can show you, like right now, my lights are on and it is so cloudy. So for sure, it's coming from Texas. Yeah, it looks bad over here. It looks terrible. Yeah. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Okay. Yes, the movers and shakers of 2005. So guys, Hebrews 11 talks about faith and all the different people who have faith in the Bible. So please do read Hebrews 11 and just reflect on that. Reflect on faith. Having faith is believing in something without seeing it. That now we believe that, you know what? We're still going to have the US of A after 4 years. We believe that God got us. after all I've said and all my fears. And yeah, God got us. And continue praying, knowing that it is well. It is well. It is well with the Lord. It is well. Yeah. So, good people, thank you so much for coming. Yes, thank you so much for coming. And yeah, Cons mom, thank you. Commons mom, thank you, thank you, thank you guys. And spread love. Until the next one. Thank you so much. Yeah, we'll read that. Yes, Hebrews 11. Yes. Otherwise, thank you so much, guys. And I appreciate you all coming here today. Until the next one, you'll be good. Alrighty. It's 1 hour, 15 minutes. But it was fun. It was fun. It was good. All right. Thank you, guys.